This is a demo of Okta Conditional Access. As a security engineer, I want Fleet to support conditional access in Okta so that I can block end users from logging in into third-party apps via Okta if they're failing specific policies. So basically, we want the device to be secure before allowing users to get access to company resources. And the way we're going to be doing that is MTLS, mutual TLS. So if we go to our device, it is set up already. We have a root cert, a trusted root cert, and then we have a device cert that the device requests with the private key being on the device. And this cert will identify this device via the Okta login flow so that Fleet can know to check its policies. Fleet can link the login flow to this specific device. So first, let's talk about how we get these settings there. That is done with profiles. So currently, we're supporting this for macOS initially. So we have a user profile that's going to send down a trusted CA cert. There's going to be a SCEP profile with proper usage. The device being identified here in the SAN down here. We'll have the SCEP profile. Yes, we have identity preferences here for the SSO, the MTLS-backed SSO endpoint. And then here we have a profile for Chrome so that Chrome knows that this cert is associated with this URL. That's going to be where our Okta SSO is. This is just a test URL. In reality, it's going to be a server's URL with Okta prepended to it, like okta.example.com. All right. So using MTLS allows us to be flexible. So this approach will not only work on macOS, it'll work on iOS, Android, different browsers, etc. So let's take a look at Okta configurations. So let's go into Okta. And first, let's look at authentication policies. So I will be protecting one app with conditional access. So if I go to my policy that's protecting this app, you can see here that it is associated with a group. So a group of users, only those specific users will have this flow. We can limit it to macOS only in Okta. And then we have our method chain. We want a password, and then we want to use Fleet as a factor for authentication. Let's take a look at our configs. In Okta, Fleet is an identity provider, so we can see what we need to configure it in Fleet. We need all these settings as well as the certificate, the Okta certificate for signing. So the way we do that is with the configuration URL, configuration endpoint. This is kind of your standard config endpoint, and we specify the four things I showed down here like this. We are working on a UI, but this feature, the initial version of this feature may not ship with a UI, but I can go ahead and preview the UI. Is going to be like a conditional access, and then once we connect, we'll have a modal where you can configure everything. And here is where you can get your profile that I showed earlier. This profile will generate it for our IT admins so they can use it with the MDM of their choice. So next, let's talk about once everything is set up, what we do then is we go to our policies and we go to manage automation, conditional access, and we select which policies will be part of conditional access. If the policies is failing, users will not be able to access to their resource. So in this case, I had selected a CIS policy. Let's go back to our device. And let's see if we can log in. So this nice pop-up comes up. It tells us that we want to verify with Fleet. We click Fleet, And then because the verification failed, we get this page, and notice there was no pop-ups because we sent down a profile configuration profile that told Chrome which certificate to use. So let's go ahead and fix this. Go here, we see which policy is failing, we see instructions. I'll go ahead and fix this. Okay, and then we go ahead and refresh. I'm going to go ahead and pause for a second. Okay, refresh code is completed. We're passing, so the instructions say basically to try logging in again. So let's go ahead and try logging in again. Verify with Fleet. And there we go. This is a dummy app, so it just redirects back to FleetDM, but it is successful. That's it.